Hey guys, Darkovika here. This is gonna be a weird vlog. I'm worked up on this topic right now because of something that I saw on Twitter, and this is a video about my feelings on dating sims. And it's gonna sound, I'm gonna apologize ahead of time because I'm probably gonna upset a lot of people. I'm gonna sound slightly elitist about the genre, and I do apologize. But I'm gonna talk, and hopefully I don't ruffle too many feathers. But at some point, you just gotta give up. Alright, so as you all know, or a lot of you know, I am a huge fan of dating sims, to the point where I feel kind of awkward doing them on my channel because I get really involved with them. Like, it's like people who read romance novels very, very seriously. And you can't, it's hard to like treat them with the same sort of humor when you take them that seriously. And it's not like, I don't know how to, never mind, I'm not gonna get too far into trying to explain myself. I just really like dating sims and visual novels. Now I've played a lot of them. A lot. The ones that I haven't played are the Sakura games, and I actually do own them because they were part of a massive pack of games that I got off Humble Bundle. I've never played them, and I've thought about doing them on my channel, and I can't bring myself to play them because I hate them so much. Now, before I go any further, if those types of visual novels and dating sims are your thing, then that's fine. I'm more gonna be upset about the fact that they're more famous. The Sakura games, the Sakura Dungeon, Sakura Christmas, Sakura what the frick ever. They're more famous than any of the really good ones to YouTubers like Game Grumps and PewDiePie. And when they play them, they get this expectation that all dating sims are like them, and they're not. The really good ones have gameplay, mini games, choices, branching paths, and way more art than just one character boosting her boobs, which all characters have like size D boobs in these Sakura games, which is stupid. And they all weigh like 10 pounds, which again is stupid. And like, it creates this idea that all dating sims are just readathons with no choices, no branching paths. In my opinion, the Sakura games are a massive lazy-ass cash grab. They are so shitty. They are so easy to make. They have every character is constantly in this position or something similar, and the only thing that ever changes about them is their facial expressions. In more complicated visual novels and dating sims, the ones that have much more money poured into them and much more love and care, you have characters that are constantly changing and moving, as well as outfit changes, which are obviously much more expensive and take much more time to draw. These are characters that have a great deal more personality poured into them, and not just their boobs. And to me, those are the real dating sims. Those are the real visual novels because they're not cash grabs. And I get it. The Sakura games are very successful, and you know, you can't fault someone for understanding how humans work and how understanding because the person who made those games, or the company that makes those games, obviously understands their audience. They understand their target audience very, very well. And that target audience is clearly much bigger than the target audience for very well made visual novels. And as an example, because obviously I could talk about how much I hate the Sakura games, a really good one is Backstage Pass. And it has a ton of, like, graphics, so like actual CGs that you can collect, and a ton of like achievements, and a ton of like things that you do in the game, and it's all branching paths, multiple endings, LGBT plus. There's a character who's asexual, so it's not all sexual. There's a lesbian relationship, and it tackles a lot of things like PTSD and anxiety and mental disorders, and it, like, the main character that you play, first of all, isn't boobalicious. Unfortunately, I don't know a lot of the ones where you play as a dude, but I mean, she isn't like boobalicious, and I think the LGBT character is also not like this size D model. She's a model, but she's like not your typical model with like boobs out the wazoo. Every character has so much love put into them, and every storyline has something to teach, and there are these really intricate relationships, and it's just like, there's gameplay where you have to, in order to get your happy ending, you need to make sure that you're taking care of your character in a way to get the ending that you're aiming for. If you're getting a bad ending, you basically sleep all the time. I think that's how it works. But like, there's so much more effort put into those games, and they take way longer to make. Like, I think Backstage Pass was on early access for like 3 years because it took a long time. It took a lot of funding, and it took a lot of effort. And these Sakura games get pumped out, and then I see like Ross. Okay, nothing against Ross. I'm gonna put this out right now. I'm not hating on anyone, but Ross was like, I'm thinking of doing a dating sim to test my voice acting, and I'm thinking of doing Sakura Dungeon. And I'm like, please, no, please, there's so much better one. I get it if you're doing because it's funny. Like, if he's doing it because he knows the game is bad and he knows it'll be a lot of reading, that's great. But, like, if he's doing it because he thinks that's, like, the apex of what a dating sim is supposed to be, it drives me crazy because I can't. As a person who makes games, I cannot fault the creator of the Sakura games. Like, I don't hate them. I just hate the games because of what it makes people think the genre is. And it is just, it's romance. It is. And there's a lot of them that are sexual, but also still have a ton of, like, gameplay and a lot of love put into it. And it's still, like a BDSM or sexual thing. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that they still have more care put into them. And they're not these ridiculous, pumped out. And it's not that there's a problem with hentai either. Let me make that clear. Like, the hentai ones, that's fine. Like, what was it? Honeycam or something? No. Honey Pop. Honey Pop had a lot of effort put into it. It's a freaking game. It had gameplay. That's a really well-made dating sim. Dating sim? I don't know. It's when you get games like the Sakura games, because they're just text. And that's not... that's more visual novel than it is an actual game. And there is a very fine line. So they all fall under visual novels. But visual novels themselves tend to have more of a... Okay, these dating sims are all about the player. So the idea is you are supposed to be able to make a ton of choices to feel like you are in the game. So when you reach that ending, you reached it because of you, because of your personality, your choices. That's how it works. When you take out all of those choices, because I've watched people play the Sakura games, there's like 3 choices per game, like total, and then just hours of reading. And a lot of the times it's stuff that you really, really, really don't need to explain. Like, okay, there are rules to writing. I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about this subject. There are rules to writing. If your character is monologuing to themselves about everything, and then they immediately go and repeat it in a conversation, you don't need that monologue. You don't need them talking about their past. Do it in a conversation. That's when you're supposed to do that. And a lot of these Sakura games don't do that. They have shitty writing. They have shitty gameplay. They don't have a story. It's just about this dude who's like the most emotionless robot with no personality and no expression getting double D girls to somehow fall in love with him. And it's just like the worst self-insert ever. Like, Sword Art Online is better than these games. I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about this. And again, I've probably pissed off a ton of people, but this is just how I feel. And it sucks because you see YouTubers and they're like, why do people play dating sims? Like, this is the worst. I'm like, yes, it is, because you're playing the worst of them. Don't catalog all of them under these. There are so many good ones. Dandelion. Dandelion is freaking amazing. Mystic Messenger by the same company. Chariots makes really good shit, man. Other ones like Backstage Pass, phenomenal. It has so many representations of the LGBT plus community. What else? I'd have to look through my Steam library, but there's so many. Cinders is freaking amazing. Like, okay, Cinders, kind of misleading. There's a lot of reading in Cinders, but the art is phenomenal, and it has this amazing thing where you don't realize how much you do affects your story. So it shows you based off of the tiniest decisions that you think wouldn't do anything by putting a little like branch up in the corner of the game, and you realize, holy crap, I've made a decision that affects everything. And it's like the coolest experience. And it doesn't have that much in gameplay, but it has like 1,000 choices. And that's what, I mean, visual novels and dating sims are based off of choose your own adventure type of things. That's what they were built off of, is that whole branching narrative. And a lot of them do, like Cinders does a choose your own narrative type of branching system where every decision leads to countless endings. A lot of these, like Backstage Pass, do a very, I don't remember what it's called, but it's a branch and return. So what happens is you make these choices and they affect stats within the game, like strength. I don't know, I'm just gonna make it, strength is not in Backstage Pass, but strength, charisma, intelligence, that kind of thing. And then you get to a point where it branches. So based off of the stats that you have so far, the game will branch. And then it will come back to a common point and continue you forward until it reaches another path. That's how these games are structured. That is gameplay. That is mechanics. That is visual novels. I'm sorry. I'm very passionate. Like, I love these games because I love reading and I love books, and it just upsets me when I see people focus only on these Sakura games, which, again, if hentai is your thing, that's fine. If sexual romance games are your thing, that's fine. If, like, games where it's a self-insert are fine, that's fine. But what my problem is that there's no gameplay in them, and they're famous, and everyone thinks all dating sims and all visual novels are like that, and they're not. They're not. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop. I could go forever, and this is already 10 minutes long, as per usual. Thank you so much for humoring me for my visual novel rant. And again, I'm not hating on anybody, and I'm sorry if I ruffled your feathers. I don't care. Like, this is just how I feel about the genre, which I love very, very much. If you want some recommendations for dating sims and visual novels, most of the ones that I will be able to give you are where you play a female. I'm sorry. I'm working on expanding my library into playing as a male, but as a heterosexual female, I tend to pick the ones that, you know, obviously are easier to get into, but I digress. I mean, there are so many, hundreds, thousands of options of dating sims that are so much better. I'm sorry. I try not to do the F word. Freaking DeviantArt has better flash game dating sims than the Sakura games. Like, I'm not even joking. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Thank you so much for humoring me. Bye.